Okay, I'm just going to go to this one. So this is just going back to this other sheet. It's the same thing, it's just blown. I did these earlier. So here, let me take 3 sheets to show this. Where are we here? Okay, we had the sun. Here we are. We marked the sun in Aries. We're going to be watching through Aries. This was done in 1916. I did this for the class. But here's going through Aries. And we know as it's going through Aries, we see, oh, when it hits 0 degrees, it's going to trine Venus. Well, when is that? 0 degrees. So we can see it there, but if we highlight it, we'd see 0 degrees 19, the sun's at 0:19. Next day it's at 1:18. So here it is 0:19 on the March 20th. So on this sheet, you'll see I've just wrote down March 20th, 2016. I could just write March 20th because it'd be the same almost every year. It might switch a little bit for leap year, but it's going to be in that vicinity. There's the sun trine my Venus. Okay, so now if I go to the next one, let's see, go along this one's going to be a trine to the Saturn at 7 degrees. So I just follow it down, follow the Aries down to when it's 7 degrees, there's 7:15, 3:27. Next one's 8:14, so 7:15, 3:27. We go here, we see the trine, and we mark it in to March 27th. And there's the sun trine Saturn. We're building up the time of our specific calendar. We got the events, we know where it is in space, you know what degree it's in, what aspects being made. Now we're just trying to look up the time for when this happens. Okay, now the next one's going to be the opposition to Neptune at 8:55. So we get here, we know 8:55 is going to happen on the next day. We go to the next day, it is 3:28, 8:14, 8:55, and there it is there. We put it in March 28th, we write it in. This is right. This is what a computer would calculate, is doing it automatically. Takes these and pulls out the aspects. Computers are made for this, but there's a freedom in being able to think this through for yourself. So if you're using an ephemeris or a book and you see a situation, you don't have to say, I can't get this. It's really easy. You don't done big calculations. It's checking the sign to the sign to see which aspect it would be, and checking the degree when you know it's at that degree. And so you get within the day, a computer calculator will give you the minute this happens at, what time of day it happens, but really it's on for 3 days. So it's close enough. You don't need to have it more accurate than that. Okay, so then from there, you just, okay, that's, where are we? Yes, so that was log from there. And then we highlighted the April ones. So I could go to April and I could look up the other ones to get them in. Yeah, so we're back at the same drawing again. Okay. How are we doing for time? Sorry, just gonna check this. Okay, good. Lots of time. It's like we're tuning in different levels. There's something to be found from anything. And as you walk along and you look with this newfound idea of the radiance of the sun touching each planet as it goes around, or making these aspects challenging your confidence or your pride or these issues coming up, you're going to see how these things work into your day. They're not huge things, but they are things that affect your attitude, and they affect the specific things within that couple of days. And you can work to make the most of it and be prepared to deal with the stress of it. Okay, so on this one, so this is just an example, taking the same, this is April of 2016. So if we want to take that and say, we're going to, in that month, Mercury is going through Taurus, goes up to 23, goes from 0 degrees Taurus up to 23, 28, and then it goes retrograde, 23, 34, then it goes retrograde, backs up and comes forward. But we'll just look at this part. But if I were going to see what's going to happen that month for Mercury aspects, I'd look for the, when it hits 4 degrees from Taurus, it's going to oppose Jupiter, it's going to trine the Neptune. I could look and say, okay, at 4 degrees on April 8th, it will oppose Jupiter and trine the ascendant, and then it will square. Here we put it so it's easier to see here. Then it'll square the Saturn at 7 degrees. Go down to 7 degrees. We're looking at it here, and you'll see on April On April 9th, it will square the Saturn. Then we get to 13 degrees, which will be on the 13th. On April 13th, that Mercury will square the Pluto and oppose the Mercury and the Mars. So we have the aspect. We know the aspect. We're just looking at when it's exact, when it's close, when it's the right day for it. And you're just looking up that degree that we have set in order. And we're seeing, oh, it's on. There it is. Click. The alarm goes off. So this is how you use this. Now, if I were to look at Venus, Venus went into Aries that month, went through the whole of Aries. So it would go through the same way the sun, but different dates. Same sequence of aspects, the trine, oppositions, trine. So you see on April 6th, it would be at the trine to Venus. At 7:49, I go down here 7:10. On April 11th, it would be square to Saturn. So you're working on the degrees here to when they sit the same degrees as in your natal chart. And you've already figured out which by the sign to the sign, which aspect it is. Don't have to get into counting 9 degrees. It's just there. Easy to remember. And then here Mars, that month, Mars was going from 7 Sag up to 8 degrees 54 Sag, and then went retrograde back to 7:51. So it's only moved a bit, didn't even move moved a degree and a bit that whole month. So if we're looking through this, see, this is Sagittarius. So if we go along and we go take a look at Sagittarius, at 0 Sagittarius, we already did that before. Then if we're looking for 7, see 7 it's going to trine my Saturn and sextile it gets 7:49, 8:55. With 7:49 on the sheet here, just from the beginning, it trines the Saturn when it gets up. When it goes retrograde 8:54, it's right at 8:55. It's almost exactly stops and goes retrograde right on top of my Neptune. So this is the mechanics of watching what each planet does, how you can see each planet. But we're just doing it for the sun. We got computers calculating all these things. We can get this stuff all run off easy. We get too much information, and we don't know how to work it through simply with the texture that it needs. This simple little thing, you get used to using it. It's not so intimidating to be looking at a chart and figuring around it. When you start to work with transits, oh, Mars is in this, and when did it go into this sign? When does it leave it? Oh, this must be around then. And then you can look in the affirmers and see the day it's happening. And that's close enough. So, okay. Close that. Anything else add here? Okay, so this is basically the technical side of why it's worth taking the time to do this once, just to get it into your mind and into your texture of how these things work, rather than just leaving it as numbers. Okay, so it doesn't go far from there. So if you meet someone else that's a Taurus, you know that it's going to make one of these aspects. So you see what degree their sun is in, and you can put that degree there, and you can see what aspect. Same kind of thing. You start working with the aspects without thinking. Just remember, you're working from the degrees, sign to sign, and you got it pretty well figured out. So any planet in the sun in a degree, any degree, it's going to oppose the opposite sign. It's going to square 2 signs. It's going to sextile 2. It's going to trine 2. It's going to have 30 degrees to 2 of them, and it's going to have 150 to 2 of them. And since I'm not at this level, I'm not using the semi-sextiles, the 30 degrees, or the quincunxer and conjunct the 150s. But we're using the major aspects. This is the basic pattern. So it's not to be intimidated by. It's just really to show you, like, before computers, this was just normal. You think like this. Not everybody organized. Some people just scrambled around and struggled with it. But this sequence, I call this the ladder of the planets. You just set the planets up in the ladder, and each step goes the way it goes. So, all right, now this pretty well covered what I want to cover. I'm just trying to see if we can talk a little freely on these 2 charts up again. Okay, pull this over. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. We got our two interpretation charts. So these, we're looking at the sun. We're trying to see what the sun's doing. So it's going to reinforce each planet in its own sequence in its own way. But really, you're looking at the sun to itself first. That's the primary cycle of the sun. And it's such a powerful thing. It's such a radiant, glorious thing. That's how we shine. It's how we radiate. It's how we play. It's our ego. It's our confidence. It's how we show off. How we try and be best. This is the sun. So the competition is Mars, but the willfulness, the sense of I can do it. I'm somebody. That's the sun. So when you see the sun to the sun, you're going to see challenge to that being somebody. When it's conjunct the sun, ta-da, you're just born there. It's your day. The squares, they're a bit more struggle. It's other people's days. It's not exactly the opposition. Your unbirthday, it's the opposite of your day. But still, you can acknowledge the light in others. And this pulsing comes along. So over the years, you see, work with willpower, I worked with arrogance or with pride or with the ego or all these different, and I found that confidence is a really nice word because it's not a force, but it's a presence that really affects everything else. We can do 100 times more, 10 times more, 20 times more with a little bit of confidence than we can without it.